Hello, it's me, Griff, and I'm in Humboldt Redwood State Park. Do y'all want to see it real quick? Look how beautiful it is. It's getting dark though, you know what? We don't even have cloud cover and it's so much darker now than it would be this time during the summer. But, it's still beautiful. You can't tell how big that log is, but that's a big log. It's like 12, 13 feet in diameter. It's huge. But, so today, I was going to talk about mushrooms, but the mushroom I was going to talk about is gone. So I had to switch it up real fast. And I'm going to talk about, well, actually, we're just going to chat. And I want to ask you guys for a favor. Okay, so Humboldt Redwood State Park, y'all know that it's like redwoods. You know, it's in the name. That's what people think about when they come to the park. And that's what people are here for. Like, they're here to look at the big redwoods. Why are you in the park? I'm here to look at the tallest trees in the world. And it's cool because we have the largest old growth redwood forest in the world and the most trees over 350 feet tall in the world. But we have a lot of other reasons why we're cool. It's just not the redwoods. Redwoods are, like planetarily cool. I get it, universally cool. But we have a lot of cool animals and plants, and not all of them stay in the park. Some of them migrate, and that's where I need your help. A lot of the birds that live in my park that I love and care for and protect, along with the other state park staff members, okay, especially the biologist, they leave here and they fly over your house, okay, and maybe to your house. And it's that way for all of us who work in parks all over the country, is that we have these, we're connected to you. The park isn't an island like that you got to come and knock on a door and we like open the super seal pat, steam comes out, come into the park, hurry before the birds get out. We have all these migratory species. We have migratory bats and insects and birds. But today in this live, I want to talk about the birds, okay? So first of all, not all birds migrate, but out of the 650 birds that breed in the western United States, half of them are migratory, okay? And some of them migratory just mean they go from the top of the mountain down in the winter to the bottom, because up in the top of the mountain during the winter it gets super cold and you don't want to be up there, you know what I'm saying? Others just go a little ways, like from Northern California, Southern California, and some go from like Alaska, Canada, Northern California, all the way to Mexico and Central America. Okay, so why do they migrate? Why do they leave here? Well, actually, the question should be, why do they come here? Because most of the migratory birds evolved in the tropics, okay? And they were down there, and you're like, well, they live in the tropics. It's nice down there. Why'd they come up in, Northern California? It's nice here too, but the reason why is because we have more light. So in the tropics, you have 12 hours of light, and then the farther north you go, it gets longer and longer. So in California, you get 14 to 16 hours of light, and then farther north in Canada and Alaska, you get like 24, almost, pretty much. So why does that matter? Because you have more time to hunt and feed your babies. So in the tropics, you can get like 2 to 3 birds, baby birds, you can have 2 to 3 young. But in California and farther north, you can get 4 to 6, and maybe you could do 2 broods, which means 2 consecutive families. And so they after the last ice age ended 11,000-ish years ago, birds started going farther and farther north, and that's why we have all these migratory songbirds that live here during the summer. And when they're here, I kind of feel like, they're my homies, and I really like them, and they're beautiful, and I feel, I love birds. I love biodiversity. I like the variety of life, okay? And when they leave here, I'm kind of worried about them. I'm not waking up in the middle of the night going, oh, my birds are just okay. But I think about it all the time, and they're flying over your house, and this is where the favor asking comes. This is how you can help me. There's like 3 simple things that you can do that can help me protect my Humboldt Redwood State Park birds, if you know what I'm saying, okay? So, number 1, I just jotted down some notes, because I didn't know I was going to talk about this, because I was going to show you all some funguses that are no longer here. Well, let's start first with my favorite bird. Not my favorite bird, but one of my favorite migratory birds. See that? That's a violent green swallow, and swallows are super cool migratory birds. And when I see them in the spring, I know that means we have more bugs, which means we're getting warmer, which means that great weather is right around the corner. And swallows are cool. You guys probably know like the barn and cliff swallows that build a little mud nest that's stuck to the side of the buildings and poop everywhere. And you're like, I don't like that poop. Just stick a little cardboard underneath that, and then all the poop lands on the cardboard, and they can still have their nest, and then you get your birds to eat, bugs and stuff, and it's cool. But anyways, I like swallows because of the way they drink. over. I watch them because I have a creek across the street from my house, across the road, and they fly over the water, and they're all graceful, and they're like, and they're all together, and then one by one they come over the creek, and they fly over, and they drink without landing, and they fly over and get, so they're just like, and then they keep flying. It doesn't really look like that. It's like way cooler than that, but you know, you get the idea. So swallows left here, and they flew by your guys' houses. If you live south of me, okay, or if you live north of me, the swallows up there flew by your guys' houses. And they migrate at night, and we're not really sure all the reasons why birds migrate. You think that biologists know all the answers to all the questions. We don't. We're still finding out. Okay? It's an unfolding process. There's really no experts, you know, in all things. So anyways, we think they migrate at night because there's less predators and because they're using the stars to navigate. Bird brains using the stars to navigate? Yes. Yes. So they're migrating at night, and they land in your yard, or in your church's yard, your place of worship yard, or your school yard, or your park yard, or your place of work yard. And that's where they're resting and trying to refuel, because it takes a lot of energy to fly all night, okay? And they get in your yard, and a lot of times, you ain't got nothing for them, because you got them plastic plants that you bought at the nursery. Well, they're not really plastic, but they might as well be plastic because there's no insects on them. So they need food, and so a lot of the native plants that they evolved with berry at the right time. So you notice a lot of plants berry late for migratory birds, okay? And they're small, so they fit into the birds' mouths, which is awesome. Also, native plants have a relationship with a lot of insects. There's a lot of insects on native plants. The plants we get from the nursery a lot of times, they're from other places, and they don't support the same amount of insects. And so those plants might as well be plastic. And you're like, but I don't want bite marks from insects on my plants. Who's mad at bite marks? Look at where I'm at. Look where I'm at. This is one of the most beautiful places in the world, and guess what? All these plants have bite marks on them, and no one's mad at that. No one ever like left a comment in the comment box saying, I love Humboldt Redwood State Park, I'd come back, but there's way too many bite marks on the plants. No one's ever said that, okay? You should be proud of your bite marks, because it means that you have caterpillars that are gonna turn into butterflies and stuff. It's very cool, okay? Another thing you can do is provide, so native plants, and you can go to Native Plant Finder, just Google Native Plant Finder, and you put in your zip code, and you can find out plants that are native to your area, and that's a great way to help migrating birds. And I need my birds from Humboldt Redwood State Park fed. If you're in my migration corridor, you're in somebody's migration corridor, no matter where you're at. Planting native plants is a great way to help them refuel. Also, if you have like a shallow bird bath that you frequently clean, it has like a bubbler, because birds love the sound of running water, and if they fly over and hear that, they'll land. And it's amazing how many species you can get in your yard just from having a shallow bird bath, okay, with bubbler. But if you have a cat, don't do any of those. If you have an outdoor cat, don't do any of those things. Please keep your cats indoors. They kill so many birds. Just look out, Google cats, birds, Smithsonian Magazine, and you can read this article about it. And I know, I have 2 cats, Kissy Girl and Meow Leah. That's their name this week. Their names change every week. And I love them so much. And I decided when I rescued them, that I was going to keep them indoors. And I felt kind of weird about it because it didn't seem right. But then, you know what? They sleep 17 hours a day, so I'm not robbing them of that much outdoor time. And I play with them all the time, and I like enrich, and I change the furniture around. That's like a big deal for an indoor cat when you change the couch around. They're like, oh my gosh, it's a whole new world. And this month is Cat Appreciation Month, so maybe you can adopt a feral cat, spay and neuter it, okay? And care for it and keep it indoors. And you're like, oh, feral cat's not gonna love me. You know what? I got a feral cat, and it took me 3 months before I could touch her. And it's been like 6 or 7 months, and she finally let me kiss her, but just on her like booty back. I don't know what you call it, but like the tail comes out the top of that. She'll let me kiss that just real quick, but only if she's looking the other way and pretending like nothing's happening. And that's the only time I can give her a kiss. But this time next year, hopefully we'll be snuggling faces and stuff, because that's what I like to do with cats, because I love cats. So the other Kissy Girl, you can pick her up. Anyways, this is Cat Appreciation Month. Support spay and neutering programs. Keep your cats indoors as much as possible, if not all the time, because they kill so many birds, okay? Also, the third thing, so native plants, water, lights, tall buildings. So along the migration corridors, when the birds are going south, they're hitting our tall buildings with our lights. And we love our tall buildings with our lights, but there's new technology where we can learn how to have special kinds of glass and stuff that helps prevent window strikes. And if you have window strikes at your house, you can just get some glass chalk and then draw lines, vertical lines every 4 inches apart, and that will stop that. And if you can get the white chalk, you can barely see it, but the birds can. It's a great way to cut down on bird deaths, because when your cat kills a bird or when your bird dies from a window strike, one of my Humboldt Redwood State Park birds, and they were nesting maybe, if the mama dies, that means all 3 or 4 to 5, 6 of the babies back in the nest are slowly starving to death because of our windows or our cats or our something. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want that. No one wants that. Something's wrong with you if you want that. So the lights, there's a good program called Fatal Light Awareness. Fatal Light Awareness. If you Google that, you can learn about how to decrease the light so the birds can migrate. So thank you very much. That's basically, you know, since I wasn't able to talk about mushrooms, I wanted you guys to help me protect my Humboldt Redwood State Park birds, because they don't stay here. They migrate, and a lot of you are on the migration corridors, and I want you to help me bring back, because every year the less birds come back to this park, because songbird populations are declining super fast, like alarmingly fast. And a lot of it's because of pesticides and habitat destruction and cats and window strikes, and there are things we can do. We can go on Mars and take a picture of Earth. We can figure out how to coexist with wildlife in ways that doesn't cause their extinction, okay? So if you want a really good book on how you can help migratory species and all bird species, it's by Dave Misejewski, and it's called How to Attract Birds, Butterflies, and Other Backyard Wildlife. Super good beginner book. Dave's awesome. Love that dude. I met him at a mountain lion festival years ago. Super cool. Great book. Okay. Another book is Nature's Best Hope by Doug Tallamy. Doug Tallamy. Anything he writes is wonderful. Any video he does is wonderful. But the book, Nature's Best Hope, is so good. It's like Rachel Carson's Silent Spring good, okay? It's like profound. If anybody knows Doug Tallamy, tell him I said, thanks you. Well, don't tell him I said that, because then he might not ever get back to me. Tell him I said thank you very much for his book. It's super helpful. Nature's Best Hope. Get it for everybody for Christmas. If I had millions of dollars, I bought everybody one. But anyways, I hope you guys have a chance to come visit our park and notice our birds, and notice that you are tied to our parks, okay? Your yard, your little tiny backyard, your balcony can help me help my birds. Just by putting some native plants in your balcony, you can also help the migrating monarch butterflies that need help. You can help the birds that need help if you have little berries on your balcony, but you can help us. Just because you're not in the park doesn't mean you can't help our wildlife, because lots of animals migrate, and they can use your yard, porch, or balcony as a place to refuel, get a drink of water. So please help me, and I will see you guys all later.